Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And on Wednesday, update 14.0 was released, bringing us the Dutch Cruisers, the Dutch Light Cruisers early access event, along with a number of balance changes. Many of these balancing changes that we received on Wednesday were in fact buffs to quite a few ships that quite frankly really needed them, and I'm very happy about many of these buffs. Some of these buffs though kind of caught me off guard. If you watch my original video when I'm going over these buffs, you'll see that I'm most excited about the Tsurugi buffs. We'll get to the Tsurugi in a separate video, but it's a ship that I love. It's got a great set of guns. It's got, it's a lot of fun to play. I think it's a little underrated, but again, that's another video for another day. But anyway, in that video as well, you'll see that I'm quite surprised that the Republique, the Tier 10 French battleship, got a buff. Which is still odd, sitting here thinking about it, because the Republique, from her launch, hasn't been touched by wargaming. Granted, of course, this is quite some time ago. The French battleships, they came out not too long after I first started doing this channel, which again, that's like 6-7-ish years ago now at this point. So she is an older battleship in game. Kind of odd to think about that. It's one of the lines that came out when I started doing my channel. I guess I don't realize that I've been doing this for over half a decade now. But anyway, hasn't really been touched by wargaming, and for, in my opinion, pretty good reasons. Well, the ship isn't really doing bad, at least from what I've seen every time I've played her. I hop in her every now and then, and I've had absolutely no problem getting some pretty solid numbers and performance in with the Republic over the years. Why is that? Well, her guns are just so friggin' good. The Republic is armed with what is, to my knowledge, still a very unique set of guns at Tier 10. She's the only ship in the game, except for the Patrie, that has 17.5-inch guns. Very odd caliber. And she has 8 of them in kind of a mega Graf Spee setup. One turret in the front, one turret in the back. Definitely a unique setup amongst battleships in game. It's kind of funny, when the French battleships first came out, myself and many other players were like, wargaming, what is this? Because if you look at the French battleship tech tree, you have the Richelieu, which has 2 turrets, 4 of the superstructure. It's a real steel ship, really made. Then you have the Alsace, where you have 2 turrets, 4 of the superstructure, and then 1 turret behind the superstructure, and a more traditional battleship turret layout, albeit with 4 guns per turret, so you get 12 15-inch guns on the Alsace, the Tier 9. So naturally, the Tier 10 should be one of 2 things. It should be an Alsace with a 4th turret. Now you have 16 15-inch guns, but I guess Wargaming decided we weren't ready for that just yet. Or it should be an Alsace with larger caliber guns, like maybe 16-inch guns. That would have been pretty nice, but no, Wargaming said you get a big French Graf Spee. Because reasons. Granted, I do think this was an actual design the French were considering at some point, same with the Champagne, so fair enough there, but still, weird design. Anyway, the weird design aside, the Republic has been a pretty solid performer throughout the years because of those guns. Not because they're necessarily placed in weird locations, but the guns are just good. So 17.5-inch. What can you do with 17.5 inches? Well, back in the day, you really couldn't do too much more than what a 16-inch gun could do. Why? Well, back in the day, we didn't really have too many ships at Tier 10 armored with straight up 30 millimeters of armor. The Republic's guns can't overmatch that, but again, back in the day, I think it was like the Hindenburg, you could overmatch parts of her hull, and 1 or 2 other cruisers. Other than that, 16-inch gun could do you just fine in comparison, aside from those few examples. But naturally, as the years went by, Wargaming added more and more ships with more and more unique armor schemes, shall we say, and there's a lot more of 30 millimeter, 26, 27 millimeter ships now at higher tier that the Republic can absolutely just slap on through. So if anything, I think her performance probably has increased throughout the years if you dig down into the nitty-gritty with that wonderful French AP. Now, the French AP, up and down the line, it's fantastic for getting through anything that's got heavy armor. If it shows you broadside and it's one of those thick, chunky ships that other battleships might just chunk and not actually Citadel, the Republique or the French battleships at their respective tiers will probably Citadel. That's how good the French AP is. It's also kind of a curse because, well, that means you overpin the crap out of everything else. There's a pretty frustrating aspect about the Richelieu, and given the French battleship dispersion is also not great, that is a frustrating factor with the French battleships, Republique included. However, this new Sigma buff that the Republic has been handed, oh yeah, it's cooking. It is definitely cooking with gas now. So Sigma, what does Sigma do if you don't know? Sigma is one part of the equation, shall we say, as to how the game calculates your accuracy. The two big things you need to know about guns and accuracy in warships, you have the dispersion, which is the distance the shells can travel apart from one another once they leave the barrel of your guns. Sigma is the number that determines the pattern in which the shells will have once they leave the barrels of your guns. So you have Sigma that determines the pattern, dispersion, which decides how far they can fly apart from each other once that pattern has been determined by the Sigma. And the higher the Sigma of your guns, the better dispersion, I'm sorry, not the better dispersion, but the tighter pattern you'll have as the guns leave the barrels. That's a real down and dirty explanation of it, but that's about as simple as I can make it. So this means that the Republic should, on paper, be getting better pattern, tighter patterns. Is that happening? Oh yeah, it's happening. It is most definitely happening in game, and it is glorious. Now, sadly, it is patch week, so I've been getting some games, fellas. Some games indeed. A lot of what you're seeing in the background, that's what I've been going through for the past couple hours, just trying to get a decent Republic game. I have a great opening salvo. I chunked some fool for like half of his HP in a cruiser that wasn't looking, and then the game kind of devolves from there, right? But my God, the groupings I've been getting with the Republic, they have been so much better. Now, the Republic, the thing is, you might be looking at some of the dispersion in the background and be saying, well, Sealord, this is still garbage dispersion in quite a few of these salvos. Yeah, it is, but another thing about the Republic is that she has base 26 kilometers of range, which means you don't really need the range mod, because I don't know what the hell you're going to be doing at, like, what would that give, like almost 30 kilometers of range? It's not happening at that range, Chief. So you take the reload mod, and you have a 21 second reload base on these 17.5-inch guns, which is pretty good. And now that we have better dispersion, or better groupings, thanks to the Sigma, oh yeah, you're getting a couple more shells on target, and with 17.5-inch guns, that's all you really need to be having some great rounds with the Republic. And it's been pretty nice. Republic, and again, the French battleships, their dispersion has always been a little wonky. And yeah, you still get the wonky salvos, but you're cranking them out every 21 seconds with the guns. I mean, at maximum range, you have 299 meters of dispersion, so there is that. But I mean, that little bit of a hike in accuracy, that has been fantastic for me in the Republic. So, I mean, like, yeah, if you have a Republic, I would definitely take it out right now, take her for a spin, and see how she's doing. And the AP with the Republic is only like half of the story. Her HE is also pretty darn good as well, because, again, you can crank it out every 21 seconds. So, the match watching in the background, which was the best match I had in terms of damage for the night. I had a couple of games, I did have 4 kills, but this is the highest damage game I had. And most of it, I was just trying to murder the Shushikov. Because, well, yeah, you do have 17.5-inch guns. Obviously, they're not 460 millimeter guns, so you can't overmatch 32 millimeters of armor. You certainly can't overmatch an angled Yushikov. So I have to sit there and just keep burning this guy down with my HE. What's super frustrating about that is that the team kind of just let him get down to like 8k health and let him heal on up, because naturally they rather shoot at other ships than the low health, super battleship. But yeah, but I mean, as you can see, the HE's putting in the work with getting the fire set and just the consistent HE alpha damage to him. My dispersion was being a little finicky here with the Yushikov, but as you guys saw at the beginning of the match, she definitely got it. But RNG, I guess, just wanted this Yushikov to survive. I'm sure he probably had Kuznetsov on there too, and he had that skill pops, of course, when I'm trying to murder him, right? But anyway, Republic right now, it's a shipping game that was already pretty dang strong, and in my opinion at least, and now this buff has made her that much stronger. So if you're a fan of the French, you're a fan of the big baguette, go take her out and have some fun in her, especially with all these new Dutch cruisers sailing around, not really paying attention to their surroundings. That is a recipe for your success there, for sure. As far as the average damage goes in the Republic, I've been easily clearing, and this is with games that are not lasting anywhere near as long as this game. I wish some of my other matches lasted this long, because again, I had some great opening salvos, chunking again those inattentive cruisers and battleships at the beginning of the game, and then the match is over in like 5 minutes. One team only loses 3 ships, the other team loses all their ships. Match is over with. But yeah, in those games, easy, 160, 170, 180,000 damage in games that aren't lasting anywhere near this long, with teams that aren't sticking around for that long either. So she's definitely spicier now than she was beforehand. And again, if you're a French fan, baguette enjoyer, take her out for yourself and see how well she's doing now in 2025. So an unexpected buff, but a most enjoyed buff for as far as I am concerned here, fellas. So guys, let me know what you guys think about the Republic. If you do have her, if you played her since the update, let me know how she feels for you. I'm trying to get my hand on some of these Dutch light cruisers. Hopefully we'll have a couple of those to check up for you guys here in the coming days. Definitely I will be talking about Tsurugi here in the future as well, so keep an eye out for that video. Hope you guys have a wonderful Friday and wonderful weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.